everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Katarina. Today's video is something that I am really excited about. I did mention this quickly in my last video, which was my Tinted palette update. So I will be creating a minimalist makeup pack. This challenge is something that I have been really curious about for a while, but I have never really felt that I'm quite ready to do the challenge, because I do have quite a bit of makeup. I wouldn't say my collection is large by any means when you consider beauty YouTubers or even project planners, but in a lot of categories I do have quite a bit of options, and I have felt it would be limiting to pick only a few products to use, but right now I feel it's the perfect time in my life to do this. I will be doing this for the next month and a half, and there will be quite a bit of things happening. First of all, this becoming weekend we are going to go to Eastern Finland and we are going to stay there for about a week. So obviously I would take with me a more curated selection of makeup, but also in June is the due date for our second child. I'm not going to wear any makeup to hospital after the baby has arrived. I'm probably going to do really quick, easy, everyday looks. Yeah, I just feel right now is the perfect time in my life. Plus, I have been feeling kind of uninspired with makeup. Like, I just don't care to create anything too creative. I just want to use products that I like, products that I know will work. That being said, I am someone who likes to have a couple of different options for looks, so because of that I have chosen a few different lipsticks, for example. I wouldn't want to go with only one, but in general I don't want to think about makeup too much right now. For a while I have felt quite stressed out about makeup, so because of that I have decided to try now the minimalist makeup pack. And in the end of June I will report how things have been going with the makeup pack, what I have learned, if I want to go more minimal with my makeup. So yeah, I'm so excited about this challenge. I'm going to pack all of my makeup that I will be using for the next month and a half to this little makeup pack. Let's get into it. Let me show you what I have picked for the next month and a half. Okay, so when it comes to my complexion product categories, I feel they are pretty minimal already. Like, in most of the categories I do have only a couple of options. However, I decided to challenge myself to go even more minimal on this challenge. So I didn't pick all of my products in any of the categories. So for example, primers I do have 3 in my collection, but for this challenge I have decided to pick only one primer, and it is going to be my Catrice Sational 10-in-1 Dream Primer. This is a really beautiful primer. It gives this beautiful glow to the skin, but at the same time it is smoothing and pore filling, so I love it. It's my favorite primer, and honestly if I could only have one primer, this would be it. Then I have decided to pick a couple of foundation products actually. One of them is a tinted moisturizer. I have never used this previously, so I hope this works. And then I have decided to pick one actual foundation, the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. I'm wearing this foundation today. This is something that gives a more fuller coverage, so this is not an everyday foundation for me, but I do want to have the option of wearing and having a more full coverage foundation in case I do have something more special where I want my skin to be really nice and where I feel a tinted moisturizer wouldn't do it. This is in the shade Neutral Porcelain, and this is like a winter shade for me. And this is starting to be a little bit light for me, so I will need to get a summer shade as soon as possible. So I'm just going to replace this one with the summer shade when this is getting way too light for me to wear. Then I do have here two concealers, and it's kind of like the same thing with these. I do have a really natural everyday concealer. I have picked the Catrice True Skin High Coverage Concealer. Even though this says high coverage, it's not the fullest coverage. It's good coverage, but it's totally more on the natural side. And this is my favorite everyday concealer. This is also in my winter shade, but it still works perfectly. And I feel I'm starting to be pretty low on this one, but I do have for this some summer shades from the last summer. So this I won't need to repurchase or replace right now. I'm just going to use one of those shades from the last summer when I have finished this. And then the full coverage concealer is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This one is in the shade Swan, and I actually think this one will work even if I do get a little bit of tan. At least if I mix it with one of the darker one of these Catrice concealers. I have decided to pick only one powder, and it is going to be the Catrice True Skin Mineral Loose Powder. I do have 4 powders in my collection, and it can sound like a lot. Well, I don't know. It depends on the size of your makeup collection. When I look at some minimalist makeup bag or minimalist makeup collection videos, very often people only have one powder, and I'm kind of like, how are they able to do that? Because my 4 powders, they all do serve a different purpose. So I wanted to challenge myself to only go with one powder, and I decided to pick my loose powder because I feel that is kind of like, well, it can be messy, but that is the one where it's quickest for me to get the result that I want. Similarly, I have decided to pick only one setting spray, and it is my Urban Decay All Nighter. I actually only have 2 setting sprays. One of them is glowy, one of them is this one. We are now entering the season when it's really warm, so I need my makeup to stay in place, and this one really helps with the staying power. Okay, then let's talk about the cheek products. Now I will say this category is something where you can see that I'm doing some project planning, so I didn't necessarily pick my favorite option. Instead, I picked the option that I am panning, and I will quickly show you what I would have picked if I wasn't project panning. I totally would have picked my Charlotte Tilbury Nude Chasm palette, which has 1 blush, 1 highlighter and 2 bronzers. So I would have chosen this one and then 1 more nude blush, because the blush in here is peachy. But yeah, because of my project pans and because I am panning some bronzers, I decided not to pick this, but I just wanted to give it an honorable mention that it would be something that I would have picked. So now let's see what I have actually chosen for this challenge. So this one I cannot right now show you really properly because it has shattered a little bit. This is actually an eyeshadow that I am using as a bronzer, but if you have watched my Painted Palette videos or my 23 in 2023 videos, you have seen this multiple times. This is depotted from the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette, and it is the shade Safe Word. It is also what I am wearing as my bronzer today. Now this is not something that I will put to the makeup bag because it will shatter there completely, but I am just going to set this aside on top of my vanity and use this whenever I am home, and I actually think this one will be finished during the next month and a half. And because I think that will be finished, plus because I know I will be traveling, I have also decided to pick another bronzer. So this is the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. So yeah, this is a matte bronzer, there's not too much left anymore. It's something I do want to finish. These 2 are what I'm going to use as bronzers. Then I have decided to pick 3 blushes. These are all a little bit different shades. Maybe I will show here a picture of swatches of these blushes so you will get an idea. But I have decided to pick the Essence Satin Touch Plus in Satin Love. This is like a pinky nudish blush, a really beautiful one. This is in my 23 in 2023. And this one, I just think I need to wrap it a little bit to paper and I don't think it's going to shatter because it's not really as thin as the Jeffree Star eyeshadow, so I'm sure I can put this one to the makeup bag. At least when traveling I do want to take this with me. But yeah, this is going to be my pinky nude option, but I also wanted to pick some other blushes. I couldn't do with only one, so I have decided to pick a peachy blush. This is the Essence the blush in the shade Breezy. This is really similar color to the Milani Luminoso. It is this light kind of like brighter peach that has a shimmery finish to it. And then the last blush that I decided to pick is another one of the Essence the blushes. This is the shade Bespoke, and this is a beautiful bronzy blush. It's actually what I'm wearing today on my cheeks. So yeah, it also has a beautiful glowy finish, really similar to the Breezy one. So yeah, 3 blushes. I know there are people who can do with only one. I'm not one of those people, however, because I do want most of the times my blush to match to my lipstick. Then let's talk about highlighters really quickly. Here you can see that my project pans are also affecting my choices for my minimalist makeup bag, because I have decided to pick the eyeshadow that I'm panning in my 2023 in 2023 project pan. So this one is the Potted from the Balm Shady Lady Special Edition palette, and it is a shimmery white. Now if it wasn't for my 23 in 2023 I would not have picked this one, because you know, summer is not necessarily when I'm into like a frosty white highlighter. Time for that for me would definitely be winter, but my goal is to hit pan on this year, so that's why I chose it. But I'm most likely going to wear this mainly on my body. Like today I put it a little bit to my collarbone, but also this one works nicely as my inner corner and brow bone highlighter. So yeah, I picked this only because of the project pan. But then I have chosen another highlighter. This is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter in Be My Highlight. I'm wearing this today, however I did put just a little bit of the Balm eyeshadow on top of it. This is a really beautiful subtle kind of like champagne-y, peachy highlighter. Okay, so those were all of the face products, so let's move on to eyes, and let's actually start with the eyeshadow palette. So of course I have decided to go with my Too Faced Chocolate Bar, which is my Panda palette. I'm actually really excited that I don't need to be using any other eyeshadows during the next month and a half. For a while I have thought that I would really want to downsize my eye product or eyeshadow collection to only a couple of really neutral palettes, or I basically think I could do with only one neutral eyeshadow palette. So because of that, it's interesting to see how I feel about only using this one for the next month and a half. And recently there has been a lot of days when I have not worn any eyeshadow, and I'm sure there will be even more days like that when the new baby arrives. Also on this palette there are eyeshadows that I could use on my brows, and because of that I have not picked any separate brow products to this project. Then white chocolate is something that I could use to set my under eye, but I can also use the loose powder that I chose from Catrice to do that. And then Champagne Truffle is the shade I could use as my highlighter, but I don't think I'm going to. I do have 2 primers here, and you know, I think someone who is like a true beauty minimalist would think that's kind of unnecessary. In fact, I see a lot of the times minimalists not using eyeshadow primer altogether. Well, I do have hooded and oily eyelids, so I need to use primer. So my basic primer is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer. I think this is great. And then I have also decided to pick the NYX glitter primer. And that is because the shimmers on the chocolate bar, which I do use as lid shades, so the shades Marzipan and Creme Brulee, they're starting to be not as intense really anymore, and if I wear them without a glitter primer, they just look kind of like lackluster and not so nice. I mean, this is an old palette. I purchased mine 8 years ago. Okay, then eyeliner. So I have decided to go with 2. I do have here my black liquid eyeliner. This is from Physicians Formula. And then my nude waterline pencil. This is from BH Cosmetics. But I will say most days I use just eyeshadow as my liner, like today. I have here one mascara, the only one that I actually have at the moment. This is from LH Cosmetics, so Linda Hallberry Cosmetics. And this is the Infinity Power Lash Lengthening Mascara. I actually really like this. This is really lengthening and separating. Unfortunately, this is not waterproof, and now that we are getting into summer, waterproof would be better, because if I am outside and if it's windy, my eyes are getting watery. And yeah, 10 false lashes. Well, I do have this pack, but it's empty because I'm wearing the false lashes right now. So the Ardell Demi-Vis piece. And that is actually something that I do have backups for. If the lashes that I'm wearing right now start falling apart, then I do have in the drawer where I'm not allowed to pick anything from, I do have there some backups for false lashes, and that's something that I am allowed to pick from there. Then I do have here a lash glue. This is from Catrice. I really do enjoy their lash glue. It's starting to be pretty low, so it's maybe something I will need to replace during the next month and a half, but we'll see. Okay, so next is my lip products. I actually do have here 5 different options to wear, and they are lipsticks, like 5 different lipsticks. But for those 5 lipsticks I have picked 3 lip liners. They are all in different colors. I will again show you a picture of the swatches. But yeah, I have decided to pick a more brown nude from Gosh, then a more pink nude from Gosh, that is actually in my 23 in 2023, and then a red lip liner from Gosh. Okay, then I do have 5 lipsticks here. I'm really excited to share these with you. I decided to pick the Essence Cool Collagen Plumping Lipstick, and this one is in the shade My Mind, and this is like a light pink shade, and this formula is really sheer, almost like glossy formula. And this is something that if I'm going to do a really quick no makeup look, I could see myself using, because it gives this subtle tint to my lips and it moisturizes. But I do have another pinky option. This one is the Balm Meet Matte Hues liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade Committed. This is in my 23 in 2023 project pan. This is the lipstick I have worn the most during the springtime, because I'm trying to finish it this year. So it is this kind of like rosy nudish shade, really pretty. But if I'm going to do a no makeup look, I think it's going to be both too matte and also too much. So because of that, I also wanted to pick the Essence one, but I'm sure this is going to be the lipstick that I will wear the most. And both of these go with the Essence blush that I am panning at the moment. So the Satin Love one. Then I have decided to pick a peachy lipstick. This is the Essence Hydra Matte lipstick in the shade Peach It, and this is like a little bit brighter peach. It's something that will go perfectly with the Essence Breezy blush. Then I have decided to pick one truly nude lipstick. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Kissing Lipstick in the shade Nude Kate. This is actually what I'm wearing today, and as you can see, it is this kind of like yellowy nude. I just think this color is a little bit weird, but this is in my 23 in 2023 project pan. That's why I chose it. Plus I do want to have kind of like a brownish nude option. And then of course I have decided to pick my red lipstick. I do have the NYX matte lipstick in the shade Perfect Red. So in case there's going to be a special occasion, I do want to have the option to wear a red lipstick. Okay, so that was really all of the makeup. Then I'm really quickly going to go over a couple of other things. So nail polishes, I have decided to stick to only 2, and to be honest, I have been recently quite lazy and my nails have not been painted all the times anyways, but these 2 are in my 23 in 2023 project pan. I do have one coppery one, and then I do have one berry one. These are both from the Catrice Iconels Gel Lacquer line. And then I have decided to go with only one perfume. So this is from Eden Perfumes, that makes these natural vegan dupes for popular perfumes. And this perfume is dupe for the Marc Jacobs Daisy, which has always been one of my favorite perfumes. This smells so good. I love that perfume. This is my favorite summertime perfume, and this is also starting to be a little bit older. So next year I think it's time to pan this one. I did have another one of these Eden perfumes that actually expired like after a year or so. This one still smells fine. Maybe it fades quite soon after applying, but next year for sure I'm going to pan it, or at least try. I mean, there's a lot of product, but this is anyways the only perfume I want to use at the moment, so that's why I decided to pick it for this challenge. Then I do have here some brushes and tools. I'm just really quickly going to show these to you. So a makeup sponge, I do have one from Real Techniques. I always apply my foundation with something like that. I do have here a pair of scissors, sometimes they come in handy, and lash curler, I do have one from Shiseido. Then a pencil sharpener, I do have one from Charlotte Tilbury, and then I do have actually two different tweezers. One are really sharp for plugging my brows, and then one are not sharp, so I actually apply false lashes with them. Yeah, then some brushes. I'm not going to show all of these to you separately, but these are the brushes that I have decided to pick. So I do have pretty much one brush for one purpose here, with the exception of highlighter, I think, because the Essence highlighter doesn't apply as nicely with my normal fan brush, which is a really thin one like that. So for the Essence highlighter I do use this more chubby fan brush. So because of that I do have two highlighter brushes. But for example, I do have one powder brush, one bronzer brush, one blush brush here. For eyeshadow I do have multiple brushes, but basically I do have like one larger blending brush, then one smaller blending brush, one lid brush. Okay, so I was actually able to fit everything here really well, and this doesn't even feel too full at the moment. So I'm really happy to start this challenge. The only things that I don't have here right now are those depotted products, so the stuff in my 23 and 2023. The blush I will pack with me when we are traveling. The other things I'm not going to take with me. I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please put thumbs up, and see you on my next one. Bye bye.